What's up, friends? I finally had the chance to check out K-pop Demon Hunters this last weekend. It's funny how long that took me. It was very popular for quite a while before I finally got a chance to check it out. I think it's a funny thing. You've got a Japanese company putting on K-pop producers to work with a largely English-speaking cast who have Korean ancestry or have Korean citizenship in some cases for a Western audience. Like, that's the primary people they're trying to appeal to. I just think it's such a funny combination of things. So we'll be checking out Golden today. We'll be looking at it from the perspective of a singer, songwriter, producer, someone who's currently working on a musical and also has a girl group that he's kind of slowly launching, a Vegas girl group, but it's definitely K-pop inspired. At least that's the attempt. Yeah, so I'm excited to talk about Golden, analyze it a bit from a musical theater perspective, from a K-pop perspective, from a singer perspective, from all the things. Okay, let's get into it. I actually think the intro portion is incredibly interesting. I love the sound that they have in it. It's kind of this broken synth sound, right? But it's blended with a vocal. So I'm guessing what they did is that they sampled a vocal. They either sampled or chopped a vocal, but they probably sampled it where they had it kind of doing just like, and then they took that sample, put it into a machine, and then took it to a bunch of different pitches, through an arpeggiator, and it created a really cool sound. I really like the effect that it has. Very robotic, very fun, very interesting.
I was a ghost, I was alone. Given the throne, I didn't know how to believe I was the queen that I'm meant to be.
I think the being the start of the next word in Korean is so interesting. I also think this verse just sounds very much like your standard K-pop verse with that driving kick and then a bass. They've got kind of an oscillating bass sound. Works really well for this sound. Just more giving room so that the vocals have plenty of space to breathe. No instruments getting in their way. I'm fascinated by how these lyrics both apply to the individual girl members who are singing them, but then they're ultimately about the character Rumi in this context, who is caught between two worlds because she has these, patterns on her, and she's trying to deal with that fact while also being a hunter, while also being a K-pop star, and there's just kind of several layers to that. And I like how, in that sense, it functions as a want song for Rumi from a musical theater sense, but it still has just all the elements you'd expect from a good K-pop song.
I'm done hiding now, I'm shining like I'm born to be. We dreaming hard, we came so far, now I believe.
I think that pre-chorus is cool because it again emphasizes the want song aspect of this song. And you're literally, the classic idea of Howard Ashman is you have someone sitting on a rock and they just tell you their want. And that's literally what's going on here. You have people sitting down telling you their want. And it works really well because in this aspect, it's just a music video and it's very much part of the in-world mechanics. But at the same time, this is a want song. This is functioning as a want song in terms of lyrical content, which I think is just so genius because you listen to it and you're like, oh, this is just another K-pop song. And then you start dissecting the lyrics and you're like, oh, no, this is a want song from a musical, which is so cool. Also, EJ's vocal, who's voicing Rumi in this, just sounds so interesting. It's like this Julia Michaels, really breathy, earthy tone. But then it goes into these ranges that you just wouldn't expect. So they've got this just earthy, deep, sultry tone that's just hiking up to the mountains. It's great.
We're going up, 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 it's our moment. You know together we're going. Gonna be golden. Up, up, up with our voices. No one can get us to one that. Gonna be golden. Oh, I'm done hiding now. I'm shining like I'm born to be. Oh, our time, no fears, no lies. That's who we're born to be.
Yeah, that chorus is just so much fun, and her vocal is just, frankly, wild. Like, hitting really, really high notes, just an incredible range for someone who sounds like a contralto. Like, she doesn't sound like she's going to be this soprano level vocal, but yet she is. And I think that's just the wildest part of listening to this song. It almost feels like a second Let It Go because it has so much emotion to it. It has this rock element in her vocal. There's these nice little cracks. There's this vocal fry that's adding a lot of that natural distortion to the vocal. It's doing so much. Yeah.
Waited so long to break these walls down, to wake up and feel like me. Put these patterns all in the past now, and finally live like the girl they all see. No more hiding, now be shining like I'm born to be. 'Cause we are hunters, voices strong, and I know I believe.
So I think that section is one of the most interesting sections of this song because it's basically taking the function that you would normally expect from a K-pop bridge, which makes you think, was there a second verse at any point in this song? Because that is basically the bridge in terms of functionality within a larger K-pop context. It also just hammers in that musical theater element because it very much sounds like a Want song. That's the part of the song that I feel like sounds like a Want song. Also, if you're wondering how they did that reverb echo thing on her vocal, what they're doing is they have a compressor responding to her vocal on a bus with reverb and echo. That probably doesn't make sense, but basically what it's doing is when her voice comes on, it smashes down the reverb and echo so that her voice comes through super dry, but then has this large expanse of reverb and echo after it. So it sounds super clean, but it has a lot of reverb and echo coming off of it. That's how they're doing that trick. The piano is recorded really well. Sounds great. Just everything about that sounds really good. And it supplies a really nice build-up back into that chorus. There's something compelling about her vocals because she does have a deeper vocal. So when she goes into those higher registers, it almost sounds like she's straining, which she probably is because those are some really high notes to hit. But I think that sound of strain adds this really nice emotional quality. And then the fact that in the film, for the majority of it, when she goes up to hit those vocals, she can't because she's having trouble with her voice, and that's kind of this process of discovery, I just think matches really well to add an extra emotional weight to the song in general, which helps it communicate with anyone listening to it. But then also she just has a lot of emotionality in her vocal. I like that part with the no, we're gonna be golden, we're gonna be. I think that part's fun because what it's doing is it's fusing kind of two different elements. So you've got the Sia post-chorus example going on really heavy right there, but you've also got a lot of that YG outro vibe, right? Where you take the central idea of the chorus and you mix it into a more marchy rhythmic section. So the writers here are kind of doing both, and then they launch back into the chorus, which is not what you would normally expect, but just like a portion of the chorus just to end out the song. So I think that little piece right there is very fun. Yeah, it's a cool song. It's really well done. I think the one thing that's weird for it in terms of a person who's used to K-pop is how much only one of the singers of the group is singing in it. Normally, when you're arranging a song for a trio or a quartet within K-pop, you split the lyrics and the vocals pretty evenly amongst everyone, unless it's a little solo song for them. And I think that's the one part of it that seems outside of industry, because like, yeah, you do have songs where it's just like one girl singing the majority of it, but in those songs, you rarely have the other girls singing with them in the first verse, which this song has. So I know why they're doing it, because this is a musical first and foremost, and it has to function as a musical song. And in musicals, you have want songs, and this is Rumi's want song within the context of the musical. So it makes sense. It just seems weird from a K-pop split perspective, you know? And in larger groups where you have like 9, you'll normally have like one member who's standing out, particularly like you hear that in Twice all the time where Jihyo is taking up, 30% of the lyrics, even though there's 9 people in the group. That's so common. But within trios and 4-person groups, that's not as common in general. When I'm making line distributions for my work with UPSO, who is the girl group I'm working with, we in general have very equal line distributions, and I feel like that's more common, but it makes sense as a musical. Hope you enjoyed my thoughts on Golden. If you have, make sure to like, comment, share, subscribe. You can check out my Patreon if you want to be involved with that in any way. Also, make sure to check out the first song we put out for our group, UPSO. It's K-pop inspired. It's not quite to the level it necessarily needs to be, but again, you just have like one songwriter producer working on it instead of your normal 5 or 7 that you'd expect from a K-pop group. So we're a work in progress. Really appreciate your support. Thank you so much. Catch on the flip.
Every time that I see you, I get nervous, 'cause it's not